How's it going, everyone? Welcome back. Today we're going to bake what we have here is sausage balls. So if you stick with me and stay through the video, you will see me go through step by step with the correct products to use, or should I with the right products to use. Whatever you want to use, you can use. So just stay with me and we will get started. Alright, so what do you say we make some sausage balls? So, for those of y'all who don't know what I'm talking about, believe me, there are a lot of people that never heard of sausage balls. Basically, it's your sausage with cheese that is shredded with a little bit of Bisquick mixed together, rolled into little balls, smaller than a normal meatball, and then baked. These things are absolutely phenomenal. So, I'm going to give you the basic rundown on how to make them. So, first you want to make sure you got your sausage. So, now, I had 3 rolls, but apparently one of them exploded in the refrigerator. So, now, first of all, let's just go ahead and throw this sausage into the bowl. And get this ready. Get you a knife, just cut her open. Might would help if you had a sharp knife. And I use Gwaltney because it's cheap. Gwaltney's pretty good. I'll give them credit. They make good products. That's the brand of hot dogs I buy. Main reason because they're cheap in price. They're 99 cents. And they taste really good. So, alright, that's in there. Let's set that off to the side for the moment. Second thing is, first of all, wipe that off. Alright. Second thing is, you gotta get your cheese and you gotta grate it up. Now, they make special cheese graters where you hold it in your hand and rub the cheese up and down. But I'm a little old-fashioned. I do a little old-fashioned here. So, yeah. It's an old-fashioned, probably, this one here probably dates back to the mid-1900s, 40s, 50s. And I've actually seen some. My stepdad's mother had her mother's. And I have no idea where it went to, but she had one just like it that dated back to the early 1800s. So, let's start off and go ahead and get us a good chunk of cheese cut off. Yeah, I know they make special cheese cutters for that, but who wants to pay money for something like that? I'm not rich. So, get us a bowl up under here, drop her in, and just start grating. Yes, the cheese is a little bit of a pain in the arse to grate. Look at that. Beautiful shreds. Beautiful, beautiful shreds. So, now I'm going to go ahead and shred up 3/4 of this block. Main reason because I might end up not needing the whole block. But I might not even need 3/4. Now if I was doing 4 rolls of sausage, then yes, I would need the whole block. Definite. So when you get little pieces like that, don't try to shred them because you'll tear the crap out of your fingers. And I'm going slow with my fingers down in here because I don't want to take the chance of tearing the crap out of my fingers. So, get us another chunk of the block cut off, first of all. Cut that open. So, alright, I'm going to cut another third off. And that's pretty much, here and here is 3/4 of the block. So start shredding away. Shred, 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 shred. Keep it shredded. I'll be back with you in just a moment. Alright. That's 1/4 of the block left. So what we do here, first of all, let me clean up the counter. Alright. Now, my hands are clean. I touch cheese. I touch sausage, so they're all going together. Now, the binder. All my life, ever since my stepdad came in my life when I was 4, every year we made sausage balls. The binder is Bisquick. Don't know why he's always used Bisquick. I've seen people use Bisquick. I've seen people use flour. I've even seen people use cornmeal. But we use Bisquick. Probably because it has a better flavor than anything else. So, I'm just going to go ahead and take the bag out of the box. Take the scissors right here. Just nip the corner off. Alright. So basically, you punch down your sausage, okay? And your best bet is to do this with one hand. Only touch the sausage with one hand so you can keep adding stuff, okay? Now, you just add some Bisquick to start. Then you add some cheese. Now, I wish that one thing of sausage wouldn't have went bad in there, in the fridge. Oh, man. And you just add a little at a time till you get the consistency you need. So, now yes, freshly shredded cheese is going to be sticking to itself. That's why you're going to mash all this good stuff together. And it's okay to have a few little cheese, it's okay to have some cheese chunks in there. So let's add a little more Bisquick. And believe me, there might be some actual measurements online for this. But as far as my stepdad, he never followed measurements. It's all by eye. So, use the back of the knife to scrape all the clumps off the hands. Now some people are like, oh my god, he's using a knife to scrape his hands. That's not much to laugh at. I do apologize if I offended some people, but I've been working with knives since I was a kid. And yeah, I've cut myself pretty good many times while I was a kid. But you know what? That's how we learn. So, I definitely need more cheese. The cheesier, the better. Get all this beautiful cheese incorporated. Now I will say this. Probably the most expensive thing here is the cheese. It's about, that big block was probably about $7 or $8. So, but yeah, don't skimp on your cheese. I know I bought Walmart brand, Wally World brand cheese. If I would have bought regular brand, that would have been about $12, $13 for that cheese. So, now, the texture of ground ground sausage is slimy. Alright? And the whole reason, mainly for the Bisquick, is to bind the cheese and the sausage together. Now, cheese will eventually bind with sausage, but it takes a lot to bind it. But, that, and so basically, you know, now when you're doing this, you want to have a good sense on what this is looking like. Like I said, ground sausage, ground pork is sort of slimy. Not as bad as ground turkey. Oh my God. Whew, that is some nasty stuff to mess with. But when you're adding the Bisquick, you want to add it a little time until you got sort of a doughy texture. As you're seeing here, is really sticking to my fingers now. So I think I might have just enough Bisquick in here to do this. But you can never have too much cheese in it. Well, yeah, you could. You could have too much cheese in it, but who cares about that too much cheese clause? I love me some cheese. Cheese! Now, honestly, when it comes to cheese, my favorite all-time cheese is Swiss. It's only the best cheese. Only the best. And honestly, if I could afford it, I'd get my passport and I would go to Switzerland. Go up to Swiss Alps and learn from the masters on how to make cheese. Swiss cheese, excuse me. You know what I mean? Yeah, there are some good Swiss cheeses made here in America, but the best, only the best, comes from Switzerland. So, all right there we got our Bisquick, ground sausage, and cheese mixture right here. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and wash my hands, and be back with you in just a few minutes after I clear the counter off, get things moved around, and we're going to start rolling out the balls. So, I'm back with you in just a minute. Alright, so, well, we made the sausage balls. I got the counter cleaned off. Got our baking sheets and our cooking spray. Now, let me talk to y'all about something real quick. I've worked in many restaurants, and the number one thing to pay attention to is food safety. And one of the food safety things to pay attention to is cleanliness. When you're messing with pork and poultry, any type of bird meat and pork meat, you know what I mean, you got to be careful. You saw some pork touch this countertop, and that's one thing you don't want to really play around with. You don't want to risk it. So always be sure to clean up around yourself as you're going when it comes to poultry and when it comes to pork. Now, what I use to clean this countertop, I'm not going to show you the brand because I'm not supporting them, and I'm not supporting Gwaltney product, the food products either, but I just showed you their name, told you their name because I like them. Some type of bleach products. Now, these are the wipes right here, as you can tell. And honestly, these are the best product ever made. So I wiped down this entire counter with a sponge to get all the big stuff off of it, dried it off with a paper towel, and wiped it down with one of these. So, what do you say we get started? First, we're going to take one of our baking sheets, take our cooking spray, store brand, canola, well, cooking spray. I should have had a V8. Alright, so just put a liberal amount of cooking spray on there. You don't have to overdo it, just make sure the whole surface is covered where you might have sausage balls at. And this is where you get your hands dirty again. You take you a decent amount of sausage. Alright, roll you a ball. About the size of a golf ball. Beautiful. Just roll it, plop it, roll it, plop it. So, show you a couple more. And not every sausage ball is going to come out the same size, especially if this is your first time doing it. I've been doing this since I was a kid, and I've worked in enough kitchens to basically know how to do things. So, I've done cooking, dishwashing, prepping, catering. Of all my jobs in kitchens, my favorite is catering. Honest to the heavens, I love catering. So, get them put on here, as many in a row as you possibly can, because when you use as much pork as I did, you're going to fill a pan up in no time. So, and if you know about sausage balls, you never knew how to make them before now, my advice: to make them a little bigger than a normal sausage ball. If you have a lot of pork on hand, if you have a lot of sausage on hand, saves you space on the pan and whatnot, but you got to adjust your cooking time. And I will show you how to tell that in a little while. So, but like, back to food safety, okay? The reason why I say if you don't already know this, the reason why I say you got to be clean when it comes to pork and chicken is because chicken can transmit salmonella poisoning. Alright? And if you ever got a refrigerator with cold meats and stuff in it, you always put your chicken on the bottom shelf. You always cover everything, but you put your chicken on the bottom shelf in the refrigerator, because in case it leaks, it's not going to leak down onto other foods. In case the packaging leaks, should I say. So, alright. I am going to pause this cam, and I will be back with you here in just a few moments once I get all these sausage balls rolled out. And I will see you in a minute. Alright. So, as you can tell, I've got all the sausage balls rolled up. And I got the oven preheating. Remember to preheat your oven when you start doing this, before you start rolling out your sausage balls. You can mix it all up before you preheat the oven, but before you start rolling your sausage balls out, preheat your oven, so by the time you get your sausage balls out, your oven will be hot and you can put it in there. So, I'm going to give y'all a basic recipe on this. I'll put it down in the description below as well. Just a basic recipe for sausage balls is, bear with me, gotta get this back, there we go, is 1 pound of ground pork sausage, 2 cups of Bisquick baking mix, to 1 pound sharp shredded cheddar cheese. But you don't have to use sharp cheddar. You probably can get away with using a mild cheddar, or heck, probably a Swiss. I might have to try that sometime. Make me a batch of sausage balls with Swiss, or maybe even some Gouda or some provolone. Who knows? So that'll be for future videos. So what I am going to do is I'm going to put these in the oven here in just a second, and I will be back with you when they come out. So bear with me 1 second. Get the sausage ball moved back. Alright. Now, one thing I didn't forget to mention. It's probably best if you have 2 baking sheets that can actually fit into your oven long ways, not width ways. So you can actually put them both on the same rack so they all cook evenly. But it's not really going to matter due to the fact that The small pan only has 3, 6, 9, 11 sausage balls. Wait a minute. Yeah, 11 sausage balls on it. So those will take an extra 3-4 minutes once I take the big pan. So, alright, I will be back with you when the sausage balls are done. Alright, well, we're back. So, the sausage balls are done. Now, they do look a little wonky. That's because I didn't put enough bacon. Okay, can't stop. I didn't put enough Bisquick in it, but they're still good. Alright, they're still edible. So, now I'm going to give you a little more talk about food safety. Alright. For those of you who are not good, who are not good at cooking, who don't cook or whatever, because you're afraid you're going to mess something up, this is a cook's best friend, right here. This is a thermometer. All right. You use it to test the temperature of your foods. Now it says on the side of this one, and some thermometers don't come with it written on them, but you can find the info online. Your temperatures of cooking. A cooked ham has to be 140 degrees. Ham, beef medium, and ground beef cooked has to be 160. Poultry, which meaning chicken, turkey, and such on, has to be cooked to 165. Okay? Now, stuff like lamb, veal, pork, beef Wellington, beef well done, beef well done, is 170 degrees. So, just always remember that, okay? You want to make sure your food is always cooked. Alright? So, that's a good thing to know. They make these in the analog, as you can tell. That's analog, has the needle that moves around. And they make them in digital. The digital ones are really nice to have. Don't get me wrong. But if your batteries die, you don't have any of your batteries replaced right away, you're pooped. So, trying to use nice words in my cooking videos. Now, let me find those tongs, which they should have been in here. Heck with it. I'll just use a spatula. Gotta love these metal spatulas right here. Now, don't go digging hard on your pans, just lift them up and whatnot. Some of them are connected together with the melted cheese, because these things will swell up when they're cooking, when they're baking, excuse me. And sometimes they'll touch and the cheese will get them stuck together and whatnot. Just break them apart. Funny thing is, I was just watching while these were baking, I was just watching a video from Exploring with Josh. And him and his boy went up to their mall, their local mall in Ohio, to get what is called Reptar bars and Reptar cereal. Now, for those of you who do not know what Reptar bars and Reptar cereal is, go watch the Rugrats. Oh my God. That's back from my days, the Rugrats. It's a cartoon, a bunch of babies talking to each other. It's really cute, you know. There's theories behind it all, and they're stupid theories, but what can we say? So, make sure you have a container to put them in. Just scoop them out, put them into the container, and it's always best to have the container right in front of you. And stack them up. Make them a little presentable. You don't have to. That's just suggestion. You know what I mean? So, but if they're not broke apart, it's going to be a pain in the butt when you go try scooping them up. So, like so. And just keep at it. Just use something to push them up onto it, and I'm using the casing for the thermometer because I know it's clean. scoop them up in there. Just place them around the dish. Get them all in there. So, bear with me. And see, one thing I did not show you in the video is when they're baking, the sausage will put out a lot of grease. And I had to stop and pour out the grease because I don't like my sausage balls to swim in grease. And when you take the grease away, it helps cook them faster. So if you leave the grease in there, it's just going to fry. And it's going to make it fattier. Now normally I don't care about the fat content. That's just me. Yeah. I love my foods now. But my mother, who was a gastric bypass patient, about like 8 or 9 years ago she had her gastric done. Her stomach can't handle certain things, and one of those things is extremely greasy things. Now, the world's worst animals to have greasy meat, well, two of the world's worst is pork and duck. But I don't see my mother eating duck anytime soon. So, now here in just a second, I'm going to show you the perfect, well done. Look at that, right there. When you see that golden brown texture right there, you know your sausage balls are done. Alright? Now, the reason why you want to wait for that golden brown texture is because you want to make sure that Bisquick is baked into, the Bisquick and the pork is baked together. So, but now here we go. So the little crumbles, let me give it a try. Woo-wee! Man, I love me some sausage balls. Man alive. My stepdad had the right idea teaching us how to make these growing up. God rest his soul. He's been gone about 5 years now. The holidays are always the roughest because this was his favorite time of year. Thanksgiving and Christmas was his favorite time of year. So, and especially Thanksgiving because he loved making this stuff right here, sausage balls. And he also loved making the special dessert called Dream Whip pudding pies. You can go to your local grocery store and get these boxes called Dream Whip. And what you do is you take and stab it with a thermometer. You get you these little boxes of Dream Whip mix, and you follow the instructions, but you get your favorite flavor pudding, okay? And you take the Dream Whip mix, the pudding, the ingredients, mix it all together. You got to have you a pie shell, unbaked graham cracker pie shell is the best thing to use. You got to have that ready. So once you get everything mixed together, you pour the Dream Whip pudding mixture into the shell, and you cover it over with the cover that comes with the shell, and you put it in the refrigerator 30 minutes to an hour, and it sets up really good. Oh dear heavens, Lord. What I'll do is I'll put some links down below in the description of what I'm talking about, Dream Whip mix, pudding in the shells and stuff, best things to use. And I'll try to get a video, find a video online on making them and whatnot. And so my sister's coming later on. She'll be bringing the stuff to make the Dream Whip pudding pies. If she'll let me, I'll record her making them and whatnot. She's a little ishy on getting on camera, so, but if she'll let me. So, now, be right back with you, so bear with me. Alright, so, basically, in a recap, we made sausage balls. Sausage balls are a combination of 1 pound of ground pork sausage and 2 cups of Bisquick mix and 1 pound of shredded sharp cheddar cheese, or any cheese of your liking. I do know that sharp cheddar cheese tastes really delicious, and you just mix it all together till you get a consistency of a dough, and you roll it into little balls. Put it on, you spray your baking sheet, put it on the baking sheet, bake at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, or I think it's 172 degrees Celsius for those who do not use the standard scale. And you bake for about 20 to 30 minutes, depending on how your oven cooks. Depends on how evenly you get the sausage balls cooked. And you got to make sure you get them to like a golden brown on the top, okay? If you don't get them to a golden brown, everything inside's not going to be melted together just right, and they're going to be mushy. They'll be edible, but they're going to be mushy. Alright, a good sausage ball, you get a good bite into it. So, now, I used 3 pounds of ground pork sausage, Gwaltney brand. It was $1.28 a roll. And I used about a half a block of cheese, which was a 2-pound block of cheese, which it says 1 pound of cheese per pound of ground sausage, but you can tell there's a lot of cheese in these things. So I used it's a 4-pound block of cheese, so it's 2 pounds of sausage, cheese, ground shredded cheddar, sharp cheddar cheese, with 3 pounds of sausage, and I would say probably about 5 cups of, about 3 to 5 cups of Bisquick mix, mixed all together. So, all right, everyone. As you can tell right here, I got a really nice looking sausage ball, nicely done. Oh God, best ones I've made yet. This is only the 3rd time I have ever made sausage balls on my own since my stepdad passed. And honestly, these are the best ones I've made yet. I honestly think I put the right amount of cheese to the right amount of Bisquick into the amount of sausage I have. So, next year, I'm going to do probably like 3 times this batch, because everyone in my family loves them. There's not much left in my family around here anymore, but still, they'll get eaten. Alright, everyone. I want to wish you all a happy Thanksgiving, and say God bless and happy holidays, everyone.
Now I'm on the outside.